Greetings everyone, welcome aboard. Joseph James, SchoolOfTrade.com, and I want to talk more about one of my favorite futures markets, the crude oil futures markets. Now guys, remember, if you're watching this video right now on our blog, you can also go right to the blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. Now let's talk about crude, one of my favorite markets, guys. It makes us money every day we trade. The symbol is CL, as in Charlie Larry, and it trades on the CME group. Now, in the old days, right, we'd trade NYMEX crude, but NYMEX has since been gobbled up by the CME group. The CME group is slowly taking over the world, ladies and gents, here in the futures markets. And of course, the crude oil, symbol CL, trades at $10 per tick. It's going to require about $1,000 margin. All right, so if you want to trade one contract, you'll need to have $1,000 USD in your account. Now, we trade 4 contracts most often in the room, so you'll want to have at least $4,000 in your margin account. Now again, for more information about how to open up an account, just email us, sales@schooloftrade.com, and we'll introduce you guys to some great brokers that do a great job with the best fees, etc., etc. Now, why do we like trading crude so much? What are some benefits? Well, the benefits that make crude one of our favorites is it gives us large moves and consistent patterns. Now, what are some drawbacks? Some drawbacks are what actually makes those large moves happen is that we have lower volume. And it sometimes can get whippy. For example, right, we have crude oil inventories on Wednesdays at 10:30. Before those 10:30 Eastern Time news number comes out every Wednesday for crude oil inventories, you're going to see the crude market lower volume, slower speed, right? The big money won't be there as often, and you'll begin to see it get very whippy, right? It'll move up, come back down, move down, come back up, right? It's when we see the market get whippy like that, we always joke around by saying, right, crude oil can get pretty rude, right? Crude can be rude because it can be moving up, down, sideways, everywhere. So the biggest benefit of crude oil is those large moves. But those large moves are being made possible by low volume. Right, guys? So a little bit lower volume. Remember, crude oil is one of those markets that really fits the perfect situation. It's got a combination of big volatility, consistent patterns, but not too much volume. Now, what would be a good example of a high volume market? The S&P, the Hang Seng, the Euro stocks, right? The T-notes, the bonds, right? Something high volume. Crude oil is almost the exact opposite. It's a lower volume. It's considered an illiquid market. And that illiquidity gives us these huge moves, which we love, but it can also be one of the biggest drawbacks as well. It's also why margin is a little bit higher, because your average trading range is going to be wider. So the wider the trading range, the more profit potential we have. But remember, guys, that knife cuts both ways. So profit potential can also mean loss potential, and that's why you're going to see a little bit higher margins on crude oil futures. Now, guys, what's the best time to trade it? We all know you can find more information online about crude oil, but how do I make money, right? How do I trade the crude oil? Well, I find the best times to be from 7:45 a.m. until 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, as you guys know, crude will close up at 2:30, so we're really here looking at almost just the U.S. session. Now, you can also look for good volume at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, from 3 a.m. till 6 a.m., but just make sure you stay away from that lunchtime session of the European session from about 6 to 7:45 a.m. Now, my favorite pattern on crude oil is scalping the market. I love scalping crude, right? Lots of entries all day long, looking to grab 10, 15 ticks at a time. My favorite pattern, though, is scalping the two-step off the extreme. So what I mean by that is whenever I see crude trading at its highs, I'm looking for a reversal pattern to scalp selling those highs. My favorite time frames will be a 4-range chart for my scalping. For a day trading setup, I'll use a 13-range chart. And then for your swing trading or your position trading, your more long-term trading, I'll use a 21 range, a 34 range. I can also use a 15, a 30, a 60-minute chart as well. But I like to use range charts. Those are my favorite, guys, for trading crude. So there you go, guys. It's called crude oil, symbol CL, $10 per tick, $1,000 margin. One of my favorite markets, guys. Remember, we want to trade crude when we see good volume, and we know we've got good volume by tape reading and watching the pace of tape indicator. Don't forget, guys, if you want more information on crude oil futures, head over to sidewaysmarkets.com and come join us in our live trade room. My name is Joseph James, SchoolOfTrade.com. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.